Major terror strike has been averted in India after the NIA, that's the National Investigating Agency, busted a terror module in two places, in Murshidabad in West Bengal and Ernakulam in Kerala. 9 al-Qaeda operatives have been arrested. The NIA has seized digital devices and incriminating documents from them. Now, according to the NIA, the suspects were radicalized by the al-Qaeda online. They were nabbed for planning an attack on important installations and sites. The module was actively engaged in fundraising, and a few members of the module were planning to travel to New Delhi to procure arms and ammunition. These arrests have preempted possible terror strikes in various parts of the country. There are some more explosive information and details that are now coming to us by way of our NIA sources. This is what they are telling us. Bangalore, Delhi and Bihar, which is election bound, were the targets of the al-Qaeda module. Let me go straight across to Arunima, who's joining us live on the story. So is Shoching Mukhopadhyay, who is joining us, will be joining us from Kolkata this hour. Let me go straight across to Arunima, who's getting us that piece of information. Arunima, now you're picking up from your sources within the NIA that Bangalore, Delhi and very importantly the poll-bound state of Bihar was on the target of this al-Qaeda module.
Yes, that's what I hear from officials who have done the preliminary questioning of this group. And what the group has told investigators is that they were told to target vital installations in the national capital, Delhi, in the southern city of Bengaluru, capital of Karnataka, and also in poll-bound Bihar. Where exactly in Bihar, we don't know, but because elections are around the corner in Bihar, that information assumes significance. The instruction to this group was that either plant an explosive device in a heavily populated area, and that's where the recoveries made come in. The recoveries made include switches, batteries, things that can be used as splinters like nuts and bolts. All of this then takes us back to the Indian Mujahideen days. Correct. When they would put in explosives, not very huge quantity of explosive, but packed with splinters, leading to maximum number of death and injury. So that is the kind of instruction that was given to this group. The other thing they were told was that if you cannot put in a bomb, at least try and target, targeted killing of important people was the other instruction. So that's what I learned from NIA. The instructions was coming in from an online handler who goes by the name of Hamza. And we've also been told that the instruction from Hamza was to this group's mastermind who worked with a hotel in Ernakulam. He's been arrested. He was told to travel to Delhi to pick up the consignment of arms and ammunition. But then lockdown was announced. So I'm presuming this conversation was happening around March. Lockdown was announced. Railways, buses, inter-district transport, everything was shut. Their plans were derailed, and that gave NIA more time to bust their plans and carry out these arrests.
All right, Arunima, do stay on with us. There are more questions we need to ask you. But for the moment, there's another piece of breaking news that is coming in. The NIA court has now allowed transit remand of the 6 suspected from this al-Qaeda module in Bengal. The accused would be produced before the Patiala House Court in the national capital within the next 24 hours. Let me go straight across to Shoching Mukhopadhyay, who's getting us that piece of information. Shoching, all right, before we go to Shoching Mukhopadhyay, let's quickly listen in to the latest that is coming in.
And after arrest, they produced before this learned court. So because they're coming from the Murshidabad, it has been totally told to take time. That's why the court has also, our request court has also waited for that. And they produced before this court, and today or tomorrow they will send to the Delhi Patiala court.
By what time do we have to produce before Patiala?
Within 24th of this month. Because 24th, 9th of this month, it is our prayer, because this is a case of UPA Act also, and al-Qaeda's activities are there. So they are the member of the jihadi and also other banned organization.
So what are the sections?
18, 17, 18 and 25 and 28 of EOP Act.
And any other
at this stage, which has been initiated by the NIA branch in New Delhi.
Sir, इनका क्या role पाया जा रहा है अभी preliminary?
That is not actually they are member of the al-Qaeda. They may be something because they plan to something in our country against our country. So that's why some part of the investigation is there. It is the initial stage of the investigation.
Sir,
We could not.
क्या profile है इन 6 लोगों की? कोई
A
student
member,
है?
they are a member of the jihad of al-Qaeda.
हाँ,
Nothing
sir,
more.
in general ये क्या labor है या student है? क्या profile
That is, how can you understand that this is a case of they are the labor or they are the member of the, they are member, but it is a fact that they are the member of the al-Qaeda. But they doing their job, maybe labor, maybe masoning, maybe otherwise. So this is the question of it. Now investigations to be continued by our NIA Delhi. So thereafter it will be decided what type of the cases will be there.
Question, when are they being taken to Delhi?
Tomorrow, I hope so, because if the flight is available today, they will send it today.
Or else at the earliest tomorrow?
Earliest tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, after Namta designation.
All right, that was the NIA special prosecutor who was speaking to the press there. He's saying that the NIA court has now allowed transit remand of 6 of the suspects of this al-Qaeda group. These are the 6 who were apprehended in the state of West Bengal. There are 3 who have been apprehended in the state of Kerala as well. The accused, we are now being told, will be produced before the Patiala House Court in the next 24 hours. We will be joined by Shugata Mukhopadhyay in just a bit to get us more information, more details on exactly who these men are who have been arrested. Yes, there are al-Qaeda operatives, but what is their profile? Are they masons? Are they laborers? Are they blue-collared workers? What is their education level, etc.? These are questions that need to be answered right now. Shugata, I'm coming to you first. We just heard the special prosecutor of the NIA there speaking to the press, and he's saying that these 6 accused who have now been arrested will be brought to Delhi as soon as possible and will be produced in the Patiala House Court in the next 24 hours. Any clarity on how this transit is going to take place? Because that itself is going to be a very precarious task. This is, after all, transporting people who are accused of terror from West Bengal to Delhi.
Well, I'll answer all your questions, but let me show you the picture right in my background, Shreya. First, that you can see these cars that are waiting, and on the background, that's the court lockup from where the accused will be brought out in a short while. The wait is currently for the order to be written. The court is currently writing the order down, and once that written order is handed over to the NIA, the investigating agency, the accused will be brought out and would be put in those cars and would be taken to some destination, probably here in Kolkata, Shreya, today, because it is unlikely that these accused will be flying to Delhi tomorrow, flying to Delhi today. The agency is probably looking at an early flight tomorrow to Delhi, and that is how they are planning to take the accused to Delhi. One small correction, Shreya, is that the remand is till 24th of September.
Okay.
So the accused would have to be produced before Patiala House Court on or before 24th of September, not in the next 24 hours. So the NIA has some time in hand to interrogate these accused till they are produced in court next. I am currently joined by Mr. Shamul Ghosh, who is the NIA public prosecutor here at the NIA Special Court. Sir, you sought a transit remand. You've already got the transit remand. You will be producing the accused before the Patiala House Court on or before 24th of September. But initial investigations by the agency, what have you found so far? What was the kind of attachment these accused have in the al-Qaeda network?
Actually, this is a banned organization, number one.
Right.
The government of India, Ministry of Homes, is having some information. According to that information, that our agency that given the charge of that for inquiry and information.
Right.
According to that in Kerala there is 3 persons, and in Bengal there is 6 persons interrogate and investigate and inquiry. Those are both the places. There is several incriminating documents, articles, ammunition has been recovered. But now at this stage, because the case is which has been pending as a UAP Act.
Right.
So this is a very initial stage.
Can you please once again explain what these sections 16, 17, 18, 18B, 20 and 38?
38 as the initiate.
These are all sections related to terrorism.
UAP Act.
And these are all sections related to terrorism.
Yes, this is at this stage.
Right.
Because the banned organization, so our government of India's, the UAP Act, as per the amendment, this section has been initiated.
Right.
So ultimately, this is a case of branch of NIA in Delhi.
Right.
So whatever the other incrementing documents and whatever the information they have received, tomorrow, I hope so, the investigation agency, it is continued for the investigation today also in the office of the NIA. And also tomorrow it may be sent to the immediately Delhi as per the flights available. So thereafter this case will be continued.
Sir. So before I let you go, one small question. Do you think this is the tip of the iceberg? I mean, obviously, these are all very, very preliminary time. But is this the tip of the iceberg, or do you think that is the module very widespread? Any idea?
These are the men, those who are actually member of Jihadi of al-Qaeda.
Right.
They should first investigate and interrogate.
Okay.
Without the consideration of from their mouth, the investigation agency could not become as a conclusion.
Right.
So this is the stage of investigation. This is not possible for me to explain anything.
Correct.
So that's right.
Thank you so much, sir. So that was the NIA prosecutor confirming to us that these are very, very preliminary stages of investigation. Let me repeat, Shreya, for you that the sections that have been slapped on these accused are sections 16, 17, 18, 18B, 20 and section 38 of the UAPA Act. And all these sections pertain to terrorism, terrorist act and punishment for terrorism and terrorist acts. So obviously these are very, very serious sections that have been slapped on these accused, but it is still not very, very clear, Shreya, at this point in time as to what were the exact involvement of these accused in the network and what were the exact roles that they were playing here in Bengal, at least, for whether it was recruitment, whether it was indoctrination, whether it was making of explosives, whether it was information exchanging, procurement of arms and ammunition, spread of jihadi literature, so on and so forth. We are not exactly sure because the investigating agency, like you just heard from Mr. Ghosh a short while back, they are not yet ready to disclose. These are very, very preliminary stages. These accused would be taken to Delhi probably tomorrow. That's also a probability depending on flight availability.
All right, we leave it there for the moment. Shogotam Mukhopadhyay getting us all those details, more importantly getting us the very important voice of the special prosecutor of the NIA. Thank you very much. Another piece of breaking information coming on the story. We managed to get exclusive pictures of items that have been seized from these NIA raids. These are pictures of country-made armor that was found by the NIA during these raids. Also pictures of the Murshidabad location where IEDs were being allegedly stored. Let me go straight across to Arunima, who is joining us live. Arunima, looking at these pictures, the question that comes to your mind, to anyone's mind, is what exactly was on the target of this module? Were there just 9 people? Does the NIA believe there were just 9 people in this module? Was it a wider net? And who were they trying to target? If these are targeted killings, who were the people on their target? What were the vital installations that were on the target? Does the NIA have any details on that?
So I'll just refer to my notes, Shreya, because it's a very complicated investigation that NIA has undertaken. What they begin by saying, my sources say, is that the group was aiming to execute terrorist strikes immediately once they had received the weapons. So like I was telling you, the group head was asked to go travel to Delhi. He was in Ernakulam where he was arrested. So from Kerala, he was to come to Delhi and take charge of the weapons. And as soon as he got the weapons, the instruction was to carry out the attack. What was actually the plan? Again, Murshid Hassan, who is the head of the group in a way, he apparently is extremely radicalized. He was on these encrypted groups. Telegram is one example that we know about. It cannot be broken easily by intelligence agencies. And terrorists use these platforms to communicate. So he was on one of the closed chat groups there when somebody called Hamza, who's apparently a Pakistani handler who is affiliated to al-Qaeda, he got in touch with him. And he said that, you must go to Handa Ilaka, which is Kashmir. And you must go there, and from there you will be given some consignment. But that plan didn't work out, and then subsequently from Kashmir, the next target was moved to Delhi. Now in all of this, he was being helped by another man. His name was Mosarraf Hossain. Mosarraf Hossain, again, somebody who's been living in Kerala for the last 10 years. He apparently works with a textile shop there. He was helping his other, conspirators who were all from Murshidabad to recruit and radicalize more people in Kerala. Musharraf Hasim is also accused of trying to procure weapons from the Indo-Bangladesh border, and there is proof to suggest that he had already paid 1 lakh rupees for this. So this seems to be the broad plan. A, try and recruit. B, try and buy weapons from Bangladesh border or from other parts. The picture that we have just showed you of Murshidabad, the location, when that was raided, they found an armor, they found some explosives, they found other, country-made weapons also there. So this seems to be the plan. That first and foremost, get your act ready, get your arms ammunition ready. 3 targets have been specified to you: national capital, Bihar, the state, and Bengaluru. Once you have done all this, the handler would have given them specifics as to how and where to carry out the attack. But thankfully, before it came to that stage, NIA managed to bust that entire conspiracy.
All right, Arunima, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for getting us those exclusive pictures and details that you've just put for our viewers. Let's quickly take our viewers through what has happened so far. This is 2020's biggest terror plot, an al-Qaeda plot that has now been busted. What we know is that this is an interstate module that was operated from West Bengal and Kerala, specifically from Murshidabad and from Ernakulam, because the arrests that have been made from these 2 places. 6 al-Qaeda terrorists have been arrested from Murshidabad, which is in West Bengal, and the remaining 3 have been arrested from Ernakulam and Kerala. But the 2 are linked. This is one module. The suspects have been radicalized by Pakistan-based al-Qaeda terrorists. And how has this radicalization happened? Increasingly, I mean, 90% of the radicalization that now happens via social media. There's a lot of al-Qaeda literature on social media. If you go to Google, you'll realize what we are talking about. The suspects were motivated to undertake attacks in multiple cities. Arunima just put those cities out for us. She's saying that pole-bound Bihar was on the target. Of course, the national capital was on the target, and a Thandi Jageh was on the target as well, which means Kashmir was on target as well. So was the national capital. So was India's IT city, Bengaluru. What we are being told is that the suspects gathered material to make homemade explosives or IEDs. The material for it is available. All you need to do is assemble it. There are plots that have been busted before this as well. These modules were actively engaged in raising funds to carry out plots. If you want to buy IEDs, if you want to buy explosives, you need money. Where is this money coming from? So there was a fundraising exercise that was underway as well. And some members had planned to travel to Delhi to procure proper arms. But this couldn't happen because Arunima just told us, because the COVID-19 restrictions came into place, all travel was stopped, and they couldn't actually travel to Delhi to procure these arms. Meanwhile, politics, as expected, has broken over these arrests as well. Take a look at why the TMC and the BJP are trading charges.
NIA के द्वारा जो 6 आतंकवादियों का पकड़ा जाना, ये बहुत बड़ा एक संवेदनशील घटना है, देश की सुरक्षा के लिए बहुत बड़ा थ्रेट है। लेकिन दुर्भाग्य से हर बार बंगाल में ऐसा ही घटना होती है, चाहे बांग्लादेशी टेररिस्ट हो, चाहे सीमी अल-कायदा IS के और मॉड्यूल हो, बंगाल में कहीं न कहीं जिला में इनका शेल्टर मिलता है। मुझे लगता है बंगाल की सरकार जानबूझकर इनको शेल्टर दे रही, क्योंकि इसी में उनका राजनीतिक हित है। ऐसा कोई डिस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं वेस्ट बंगाल में जहां कभी ना कभी कई 5-7 सालों में बम विस्फोट नहीं हुआ हो। तो लगातार ये जो घटना हुई है, इससे पता चलता है बंगाल की सरकार इस मामले में सॉफ्ट है।
We are putting all details to that terror bust on our website, news18.com. For the moment, a quick look at what else is making news across the country today. The COVID-19 tally in India has raced past 5.3 million after over 93,000 cases were registered in a single day. The death toll also increased to 85,000 plus after 1,200 plus fatalities were registered during the same period. After the issue of poor availability and black marketing of oxygen in some states was raised in Parliament, the Ministry of Home Affairs has now asked states not to block movement or supply of oxygen. The Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, Dr. Ashwath Narayan CN, has tested positive for the coronavirus. He is asymptomatic and has gone into home isolation. People who have come in contact with him have been asked to quarantine themselves. The video of a man alleging that a policeman thrashed him in Kannauj, Uttar Pradesh has gone viral on social media. Senior police officials have taken note of this video and promised action against the cop. The special cell of the Delhi police have arrested a freelance journalist, Rajiv Sharma, for allegedly passing sensitive information to the Chinese intelligence. One Chinese woman and her associate have also been arrested for paying him large amounts of money via shell companies. In a shocking incident in Maharashtra's Vasai, goons attacked a petrol pump staff after they were refused fuel for not wearing masks. The store was vandalized and a female staff was also beaten up. In a shocking incident, as many as 30 BJP workers sustained minor injuries after helium balloons exploded as they celebrated Prime Minister Narendra Modi's birthday in Chennai. A spark from fireworks resulted in an explosion of gas-filled balloons, after which people standing near the balloons suffered some burn injuries. This is heartbreaking. INS Virat, one of India's longest-serving warships, is on its final voyage. It is on its way to Alang in Gujarat, where it will be dismantled. Efforts to save the warship and convert it into a maritime museum failed after the project didn't get any takers. The ship was originally commissioned in Britain in 1959. The Central Bureau of Investigation has filed a supplementary charge sheet against Christian Michel, the alleged middleman in the Augusta Westland case. Michel has, along with 14 others, extradited from the UAE in December in 2018. He is accused of arranging and paying bribes amounting to 360 crore rupees in the 3,600 crore rupee VVIP chopper deal. And in a worrying trend of drones being used by terror outfits to transport weapons, security forces spotted a Pakistani drone in the Hiranagar sector, which is at the IB in Jammu and Kashmir. This on a 3-day Lashkar-e-Taiba. Terrorists were arrested in a counter-insurgency operation in another Jammu and Kashmir district, that is of Rajouri. A huge cache of arms and ammunition were also recovered from their possession. They came to Rajouri from Pulwama and Shopia and received weapons through these drones. The bail hearing of actress Ragini Dwivedi and Sanjana Galrani in the Sandalwood drug racket case has been adjourned till the 21st of September. Ragini and Sanjana were arrested on charges of drug procurement, consumption and peddling. And yet another undated video of Sushant Singh Rajput has surfaced. He can be seen making notes on a drawing board along with his girlfriend Riya Chakrabarti. An unknown man accompanying Riya and Sushant can also be seen in this video. Responding to actor Kangana Ranaut's plea before the Bombay High Court seeking 2 crore rupees as damages for demolition at her bungalow, the BMC is calling it an abuse of process of law and urged the court to dismiss Kangana's petition and impose a cost on her for filing such a plea. Jammu and Kashmir's Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha announced a mega economic package of 1,350 crore rupees for reviving ailing businesses in the Union Territory. Stating that this was just a beginning and much more was in the offing, Mr. Sinha said that the government was mulling a structured package as well for transporters, drivers, auto drivers, houseboat owners and shikarawalas. Moderate to heavy rainfall is expected in parts of Hyderabad. An orange alert has been issued and the Met Department has said that rains will continue for the next 24 hours. The NDRF and GHMC teams are currently on standby. High drama is expected in the Rajya Sabha tomorrow as it is all set to take up the controversial farm bill. Even as the political heat is rising over the bills, the BJP is confident of its passage in the upper house. While the BJP, the BJD, YSR Congress and AIADMK will be voting in support of the bill, the Congress, the TMC, the TRS, the DMK and the Shiva Sena will be opposing it. Amid strident protests by opposition leaders and a revolt by the BJP's oldest ally, the Shiromani Akali Dal, the ruling party has numbers stacked in its favour in the upper house. The contentious bill aims at opening private avenues for farmers to sell their produce.